Hey, back.
Ready to be tortured more.
Alright. I'm gonna ask you to put your hands behind your back. There we go. And then when I'm done tying you up, that sounds really long, I'm gonna ask the gentleman behind me to please leave the room.
Pal, you have some time with good cop. Be truthful.
Thank you. Okay. Are you well fed? Do you need water?
I'm good for now.
Alright. If you absolutely need anything, please let me know.
10-4.
Stop, I'll give you what you need, and then
Appreciate it.
Okay, so last place where we left off, you saying that you were being betrayed.
Well, what I was saying
Not
is,
betrayed, but
yeah, deceived.
deceived.
I don't see why it's such a, unimaginable thing that I can be deceived. You know what I mean? Like, obviously Dean was deceived and he's supposed to be a leader of a big commune, you know what I mean? Like, if he can be deceived, who's to say one of his little fucking peons can't be so easily deceived, man? Like, I thought until this point Saint was just missing. Joel and fucking Huge, they just haven't been answering radio calls. So I figured, worst came to worst, maybe they took Saint and all of our stuff at our base in Pabita, because we had a little refuge there of our own, you know what I mean? Like, we had all of our own stuff, and I was gone 2 weeks. When I get back, everything's destroyed, taken down, and all of our stuff is gone out of it. That's basically the information I'm left with since I've been back. I told Dean even that I was not going to be here for a little while, right before he said he was going to assassinate Drake. That whole situation made me a little uneasy because he was so set on killing him, even though me and Joel told him we think it should happen. Joel's the one that convinced me that it should happen. You know what I mean? I just didn't trust the guy. He's been kind of sketchy. I honestly think he's a schizophrenic little fuck because he's constantly yelling out line and all this different shit, acting like we're in a movie. Who's to trust and follow someone like that? You know what I mean? Like, that's a threat. And I was trying to bring that up to Dean in the commune. Joel, he felt the same way, but he felt a little bit stronger about what needed to happen.
Yeah. Who else agreed to that? Joel, you.
Well, as far as I know, it was just me and Joel at the time with Dean. And we were just talking to Dean about it in his office. Dean agreed, and Dean's actually the one that said that we should execute him the next time we seen him. I kind of, like I said, I felt uneasy. I also had things I had to get done, so I've been gone for about 2 weeks, sleeping in my slumber. And when I come back, a whole shit show has happened. Dean keeps radioing me to come to base, and so because I couldn't fucking, you know what I mean, like, get a hold of any of my people that I knew that were in my base away from home, and all of our shit was taken away, like, I was kind of hesitant on even coming. And I asked Dean, I said, am I even safe? I was like, a lot of stuff seems to have happened, and I don't know where to go from here. I don't know who to trust. He assured me I can trust him. He assured me that I was safe here. I came here on his goodwill. I ended up getting robbed on the way here even. And this just ends up happening. I'm trying to be as compliable as possible. And I keep on just getting hit with the same question. And it's not even a question. He's basically doing what a bad judge or a bad lawyer would do and try and fucking make me confess to something that I never even was a part of.
I see where you're coming from. But see, the problem comes from, I don't know how to say this, but the people that you associated with a lot, you know, Junior, Joel, Doc, they were all Black Hands, which you obviously know, but
I know that
You have
now,
to
yeah.
admit, it's pretty sketchy when all of them agree on something and you as well, and they all turn out to be Black Hands. It doesn't paint a pretty picture around you, you know?
No, absolutely, and I understand that. And I'm trying to be, like I said, as compliable as possible with Dean, but I mean, he's just trying to get me to admit something that isn't true, quite frankly. And just because I was around him, I mean, yeah, that is sketchy, and I admit that 100%. But that doesn't 100% put me in the guilty region, you know? I mean, they were around Dean and everything. Joel and Huge were two of the closest people to Dean. I'm not saying Dean's part of the Black Hand. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
If it wasn't for Dean, I wouldn't even know Huge or Joel.
See, this is a really
And as far, wait a minute, you said JR?
yeah.
That I've known that guy one time, and it was when he came with Dean to our base to talk about that M4 thing that happened with fucking what's his name, Drake. Like, that's the only time I've ever even been around JR.
So, just for curiosity's sake, but what were your stands on the whole M4 thing?
The M4 thing, my stand. Basically, you just needed evidence to prove who did it. You can't just go around pointing fingers. And seeing as how it was someone that I literally didn't trust from the beginning, I didn't even know if he actually had an M4. I never seen the M4. All I know is that Drake was going around pointing at security.
Witnesses.
Where's the evidence, though? Is there actual evidence of him getting it?
Well,
Or is it
there's
just
two
people with
witnesses
hearsay?
here inside
Yeah,
of
but
it,
as far as I know, that's hearsay. There was no actual evidence provided to the authorities.
Fair.
That's the only reason why I stood where I stood with that whole scenario. Like, Drake came in, said he had an M4 stolen, and then he had two of his friends basically saying that they saw him take it, saying that Huge took it or whatever. But there was no evidence ever actually provided. So that just puts a big hole in that theory for me, and I honestly question if there was ever really an M4.
Well, considering now that we have the evidence that Huge was put to Black Hands, I would say that's very likely.
I'd say that it's definitely a possibility, but the evidence still has not been provided. So therefore, it is still unlikely as well. And as far as Drake, man, look, the only reason why it was so easy for me to be convinced to talk to Dean in his office about that whole situation and what we should do about it is literally because the dude's just literally been freaking me out the whole time I've been here. When me and Saint were first here trying to build and get wood and stuff like that with one of the trucks that Saint found, we were out here for like 10 minutes sawing wood, and Drake ends up, he's in the blue barn right above us being super quiet and sketchy. Like, I don't know if he was trying to get, I don't know, some kind of evidence on us or something, or if he was sketched out by us. But the way he was acting was really sketchy, even after the whole, you know, me being sketched out about him possibly being, I don't know, out of his mind since he thinks everything's a movie. But after he came, like, we heard him, I heard footsteps, and I looked inside the blue barn. I thought it was the Bushman because it was when we were having the whole Bushman problem. And he was running around the tops of the fucking tents and everything when we were trying to find the Bushman, you know what I mean? Like, because he was escaped in the campground or the whatever. He was running around on top of the tents and on top of the truck and everything being all sketchy. So I was like, I literally was like, Saint, I think this is the Bushman. And I was like, getting the gate unlocked, and we got our guns drawn, and we seen it was, you know, Drake. So we stopped drawing guns, and we were like, what the fuck are you doing? He was like, oh, I've been here watching you for a while. Like, he's just been sketchy to me. So that's how it was so easily convinced to me that, like, that was another strike two, man. Like, you're being super fucking sketchy. I don't even know if we can trust you. Not to mention, number three, all the M4 ammo and shit started going missing. So I changed locks and codes. I tried to do that to protect the refuge. And I gave other people who needed the codes, as soon as they needed the codes, because they knew the codes were like changed, I gave them the new codes and told them the reason why. And nobody seems to fucking listen to me. And even now I'm being accused of something that's very incriminating that can execute me right on point. If I fucking confess, you guys can execute me on point. And I'm not even part of a group called the Black Hand. And you guys are wanting me to confess, well, at least Dean is wanting me to confess to something I've never been a part of. I've just been around it for some reason, or at least it's fucking characters that have been in it. So now the evidence is coming out that these people are Black Hand members, and I'm trying to defend myself, but I can't because all I'm being told is to say that I'm a Black Hand member. Oh, you're a Black Hand member. Say you're a Black Hand member and you'll go free. Yeah, bullshit, dude. They just want to kill me. Like, there's no reason for me to say I'm a Black Hand member when I'm not. I don't know if any of that makes sense to you at all, but like, I've been with the Refuge for quite a long time. I think we joined it, me and Saint, right before you, Dakota, and Drake, and fucking all those others joined. Like, literally a day or two before you guys got here. We walked around with you guys showing property. You know what I'm saying? Showing the different areas that were kind of vacant and what you could talk to Dean about that you could use. Like, my allegiance lies with the Refuge, but after today, I don't even know if I want to leave here alive with the way Dean's treating me. Like, I'd rather be dead than admit that I'm a Black Hand member. And I don't know if Dean's ever going to actually trust me after this, because apparently he has no fucking trust for me right now. Someone who I've never crossed, someone who I've only, honestly, there was one altercation that had happened. He had super hit fucking Joel one day. Before we ever had any of this information about Black Hand stuff, he literally swung as hard as he could and hit Joel. And I punched him right back because that's not fucking right. And I even apologized to him for it. And then he drew his fucking revolver on us. So yes, I drew the M16 that he gifted me on him too. Whoever he had here with him in his office that day calmed him down. So I put down my arms. And I even apologized to him and said I should have never, you know, hit him or whatever the fuck. But dude, he's been going crazy for a while now. And I don't know if that bullet, like I said, didn't scramble something up in his fucking head more than his eyeball.
I'll be back in a second. Just need to check something. Where's Dean?
I don't know. Got me the radio?
Do you have his radio?
Yep.
And please, can you please message him? I just want to ask him something.
Dig, can you come back? Shed, please.